recognize a couple of special people. If we could have all the veterans raise their hand or stand up if you're in the audience.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, of the brave.
The next speaker coming to the stage is a friend of mine. So you gotta give it up for him, Southwest Florida. He is a member of the Florida House of Representatives, representing Cape Coral, District 77, my good friend, your good friend, Representative Dane Eagle.
outsiders that are coming in, leads me to believe that I have a hunch
This is what's going to take us over the top in the general election. And we're going to make our country great again. We're going to do As you know, we're doing very well in the polls, and we're leading in many, many states, including the great state of Florida. We do expect to win Florida. I really expect it. It's going to happen. We're going to win Florida. We're going to win back the White House. And we are going to be so happy with winning again, right, for our country. But today we have some very, very serious matters to discuss. Let me begin by thanking our incredible law enforcement officers. But when I'm president, they will get the credit they deserve. What a fantastic job they do. Incredible. There have been Islamic terrorist attacks in Minnesota and New York City and in New Jersey. These attacks and many others were made possible because of our extremely open immigration system, which fails to properly vet and screen the individuals or families coming into our country. Gotta be careful. Attack after attack, from 9/11 to San Bernardino, we have seen how failures to screen who is entering the United States puts all of our citizens, everyone in this room, at danger. So let me state very, very clearly, immigration security is national security. Has the most open borders policy of anyone ever to seek the presidency. As Secretary of State, she allowed thousands of criminal aliens to be released into our communities because their home countries wouldn't take them back. They didn't want them. They didn't want them. They were too bad. They said, keep them, United States. We don't want them. And she did nothing about it. Now, she wants a 550% increase in Syrian refugees Altogether, her plan would bring in 620,000 refugees in her first term with no effective way to screen them or vet them. Law enforcement sectors. Her plan would cost $400 billion in terms of lifetime welfare, benefit, and entitlement costs. You can't have vetting if you don't look at ideology. And Hillary Clinton refuses to consider an applicant's worldview and thus their likelihood of being recruited into the terror cause at some later date, which is going to happen in many, many cases. This isn't just a matter of terrorism. This is also really a question of quality of life. We want to make sure we are only admitting people into our country who love our country. We want them to love our country. And we want them to love our people. We support immigration that strengthens and uplifts our nation. People who come here, they support our values and they want to uphold our Constitution. My highest duty as president is to protect our citizens and to uphold the Constitution of the United States. I will honor that duty to the fullest extent every single day, and I will never waver, and I will tell you that I consider a sacred obligation. Sacred. It's just a plain fact that our current immigration system makes no real attempt to determine the views of the people entering. Since 9/11, hundreds of immigrants and their children from high-risk regions have been implicated in terrorism and terrorist-related activity in the United States. Hundreds and hundreds. The Senate Subcommittee on Immigration, chaired by Senator Jeff Sessions, who is a truly great senator and man, has released this information in great detail, and we encourage you all to look it up. Now we learn today that another 858 immigrants from dangerous countries have slipped into our country and have been granted full citizenship despite pending deportation. These are people that were supposed to be deported, and they were given full citizenship. They made a mistake. This is totally unacceptable. Altogether, there are nearly 1 million individuals in the United States with deportation orders who have not yet been removed. In the 20th century, the United States defeated fascism, Nazism, and communism. Now, we must defeat radical Islamic terrorism. Or my opponent, and both won't even say the words radical Islamic terror. In fact, Hillary Clinton talks tougher about my supporters than she does about Islamic terrorists. She calls the patriotic Americans who support our campaign, many of them cops and soldiers, deplorable and irredeemable, and she means it. Millions and millions of people. As Has she ever talked that way about radical Islam? No. Or about those who oppose and murder women and gays overseas? Has Hillary Clinton ever called people who support these practices deplorable and irredeemable? No. In many countries overseas, non-believers face the death penalty. Where is Hillary's condemnation there? There is no condemnation. Let's ask Hillary Clinton, how many people who subscribe to radical Islamic views and support the oppression of non-believers would you call deplorable or irredeemable? Or are those words reserved only for hardworking Americans that truly love our country and they want to make a statement? You hear the words Hillary Clinton uses. One could be forgiven for getting the impression that she thinks these hardworking Americans are somehow a greater threat to our country than Islamic extremists. This summer, there has been an ISIS attack launched outside the war zones of the Middle East every 84 hours. Here in America, we've seen one brutal attack after another. 13 more, have you ever seen anything like what's going on with our country? And we don't do anything. 13 were murdered and 38 were wounded in the assault on Fort Hood. The Boston Marathon bombing wounded and maimed 264 people and ultimately left 5 dead, including 2 police officers, and so badly wounded. In Chattanooga, Tennessee, 5 unarmed Marines were shot and killed at a military recruiting center. Last December, 14 innocent Americans were gunned down at a party, think of it, an office party, in San Bernardino, and another 22 were horribly injured. In June, 49 Americans were executed at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, and another 53 were injured terribly. It was the worst mass shooting in our history and the worst attack on the LGBTQ community in our history. In Europe, we have seen the same carnage and bloodshed inflicted upon our closest allies. In January 2015, a French satirical newspaper, Charlie Hebdo, was attacked for publishing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. 12 were killed, including 2 police officers, and 11 were wounded. 2 days later, 4 were murdered in a Jewish deli. In November 2015, terrorists went on shooting, and they just went on a rampage. And this you heard, and you'll never hear the end of it. One of the worst things that anybody has ever seen. They went on a rampage. They slaughtered 130 people and wounded 368 people, so gravely wounded that many are still in the hospitals. And they'll never be the same. In March of this year, terrorists detonated a bomb in the Brussels airport, killing 32 and injuring 340 people. This July, the south of France, an Islamic terrorist turned his truck into an instrument of mass murder, killing 85 men, women, and children, and wounding 308 people. Among the dead were 2 Americans, a Texas father and his 11-year-old son. Shortly after that, in Germany, a refugee armed with an axe wounded 5 people in a gruesome train attack. Also this summer, an ISIS killer invaded a Christian church in Normandy and forced an 85-year-old priest to his knees and slit his throat right before his congregation. Overseas, ISIS has carried out one unthinkable atrocity after another. Christians driven from their homes and hunted for extermination. ISIS rounding up what it calls the Nation of the Cross in a campaign of genocide, horrible genocide. We cannot let this evil continue. Nor can we let The hateful ideology of radical Islam, its oppression of women, gays, children, and non-believers, be allowed to reside or spread within our country. Just can't do it. We will defeat radical Islamic terrorism, just as we have defeated every threat we have faced in every age before. But we will not defeat it with closed eyes or silent voices. Anyone who cannot name our enemy is not fit to lead this country. The oppression and violence of radical Islam lacks the moral clarity to serve as our president. Just remember, doing it for many, many years, and now she's saying what she's going to do. She very much caused the problem when you think about it. Her weakness, her ineffectiveness caused the problem, and now she wants to be president. I don't think so. The commander-in-chief of this nation must speak with moral clarity and conviction. Our system of government is the best in the world, and as your president, I will defend our values and speak out against all of those who assault our values in any way, shape, or form. We will be united and unified as Americans across all backgrounds and all walks of life. Today, we have caught this evil thug who planted the bombs. Thank you, law enforcement. But the bad part, now we will give him amazing hospitalization. He will be taken care of by some of the best doctors in the world. He will be given a fully modern and updated hospital room. And he'll probably even have room service, knowing the way our country is. And on top of all of that, he will be represented by an outstanding lawyer. His case will go through the various court systems for years, and in the end, people will forget, and his punishment will not be what it once would have been. What a sad situation. We must have speedy but fair trials, and we must deliver a just and very harsh punishment to these people. Whatever lawful methods are available to obtain information from the apprehended suspect to get information before it's no longer timely. And Congress should pass measures to ensure that foreign enemy combatants are treated as such. These are enemies, these are combatants, and we have to be tough and we have to be strong. Hillary Clinton is a weak an ineffective person, and I will tell you, if you choose Donald Trump, these problems are going to go away far, far. He is a weak and ineffective person. Just remember that. Hillary Clinton, and they are looking, they want her so badly. They want her so badly. They want her so badly to be your president, you have no idea. It will be a field day. So Hillary Clinton's policies in Iraq, Libya, Syria, other places are largely responsible for the rise of ISIS in the first place. Her attacks on me are all meant to deflect from her record of unleashing this monster of evil. She has very, very, very low levels of enthusiasm. I think a lot of people are not going to bother. And because to me, this was written by Alice in the 1990s. And I heard it and I said, boy, that's exactly what's going on here. The snake, because people are coming across our border, people are coming in and brought into our country. We are going to make potentially the Trojan horse look like something that's very unimportant by comparison. And we don't want to be the ones that in 200 years from now they're reading about allowing something else into our country with a different name than the Trojan horse but have the same impact. So this is called the snake, and this has to do with people coming into our country, and I think you'll enjoy it. Let's see. And more important than enjoy, I think it'll make a point. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Oh well," she cried, "I'll take you in, like we're doing, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the broken snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a curvature of silk, and then laid him by the fireside with some honey and some milk. Now she hurried home from work that night. As soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. "Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the broken snake. Now she clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you certainly might have died." Now she stroked his pretty skin, and then she kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bit me. Heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I wasn't a snake before you took me in." executing, and exterminating people in a campaign of genocide. And what is Hillary Clinton's suggestion? That we should censor our vocabulary and never say these certain words. Refusing to say the words radical Islam has not saved a single life and never will. Our president doesn't say the words, and look what's happening here and all over the world. They refuse to say the words, we're presiding over something that the world has not seen. The level of evil is unbelievable. When we went to high school and we went to college, we'd study medieval times. That's when they chopped off heads. Well, we're in medieval times. That's what we are. They chop off heads. They drown people in steel cages. They bury people in the sand. We've never seen anything like that. I was against going into the war in Iraq, but we got out the wrong way. President Obama did a terrible thing the way he got us out of the war. And by the way, and somebody was telling me, a great expert this weekend, Iraq has essentially been taken over by Iran. All of those lives, all of that money, trillions and trillions of dollars, what have we got? And then on top of it, he got us out the wrong way and ISIS formed. Great job, President Obama. Great job. Just like we named our enemy in the Cold War, so too must we name our enemy today. Clinton's comments might not fit the far left think tanks, but they have no place for someone seeking a job as commander-in-chief. They aren't just naive, but reckless, and they're beneath the high standards of the office that she is seeking. The White House says it's just a war of narratives. Imagine telling that to the thousands of people murdered by this sadistic, evil enemy. This is the so-called leadership that's turned ISIS loose on the world and flung our borders wide open, wide open. It's time for tough borders. It's time for common sense. It's time to do things right. We have to put America first. We have have toppled regimes, displaced millions of people, then opened the door to ISIS to enter our country. This is a not too smart policy. This will go down, when people look at this in the years ahead, as among the worst foreign policy decisions ever made by any country at any time. We have opened the world to ISIS, and now we have to close those doors. Hillary Clinton's decisions overseas have left us with the threat we face today, and her immigration policies will invite this threat onto our shores, and it's already happened. We must stop the massive inflow of refugees, which Hillary Clinton is trying to dramatically increase. Far more than we're taking in now, she wants it dramatically increased. You almost say, is this possible? You almost say, can this even be happening, especially in light of what's going on all over the world? We should temporarily suspend immigration entirely from regions where safe and adequate screening cannot occur. My policy will benefit the millions of wonderful immigrants living here and the wonderful immigrants coming in to our country in the future, because all good and decent loving people want to live in a good and decent loving country. Let me emphasize this point. The pro-immigrant position is the position that favors tough screening and tight controls. And we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally through a process, and we need screening. All immigrants benefit when we keep out those who do not truly wish to join our society. Immigrants benefit economically in terms of less job competition, and they benefit in terms of safety when we control future admissions into our nation. We want to take care and protect all of our people, including our great, law-abiding, American-loving immigrants. No one has a right to immigrate to this country. It is the job of a responsible government to admit. Amazing people. You know, Florida, I think we're going to win by a lot. I can say this. When Hillary comes in, she has very small crowds. That I can tell you. And I hope the press is covering the size of this arena and the crowd here. And the we draw large numbers of immigrants, extreme views about religion, such as the death penalty for those who leave the faith, are commonplace. For instance, according to Pew, a majority of Afghanistan and Iraq, the people in Afghanistan and Iraq, say honor killings of women are often justified. We've admitted around 100,000 from these countries over the last short period of time. And this thug today, they think, came through Afghanistan. What kind of screening procedures were performed? These were difficult subjects, but they must be discussed by all responsible leaders. We have an obligation to discuss that and to come up with the right solution. This is the kind of thing we need to have an honest conversation about. When devising screening methods, they have to be good screening methods. They have to be methods that work. And unless we have those methods, sorry folks, you can't come into the country. Sorry. Just look at the San Bernardino horrible shooting and the female shooter who came on a fiancé visa from Saudi Arabia. Defeating this threat will also require the best intelligence gathering in the world. By the way, the detainees being released from Gitmo are returning to the battlefield. You're hearing about that. Let them go, and then they return to the battlefield, and everybody's surprised. Is anybody in this room surprised that many of those detainees are returning to the battlefield, and some immediately? We also need the best protection of classified information. That is the worst situation. Hillary's private email scandal, which put our classified information in the reach of our enemies, disqualifies her from the presidency. Then she covered up her criminal acts by mass deleting her emails. How about she gets a subpoena from the United States Congress, and after she gets the subpoena, she deletes 33,000 emails plus, and everything's just fine. What is going on? And not only did she delete them, but she bleached them, something that most people have never even heard about. And she destroyed her phones, many the old-fashioned way, with a hammer. Did anyone ever hear of this before? This is beneath the dignity of the Oval Office. Our next president must also stand up for America and promote American values.